白い蝶と黒いバラの花目覚め触れ合う日よ窓から覗き込んだ下界を駆け抜ける勇者よ何が好きか嫌いか互いの表
What is up, everybody? We're back with Anime Degens episode 127, and it's time to fucking duel, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming at you today with a little rewind. We're taking a look back at a more retro series. Some of the younger generation who listens to our podcast may not know Peak and they may not know Yugioh, but we're going to teach them about the heart of the cards today. Before we get into that, the best way to support the podcast is to rate it on whatever platform you're listening to. Tell your homies. Let them know. Let them check out the YouTube. You can find all of our socials, our Discord, if you want to join it and hang out with the Degens, and more at linktree.com/Anime Degens. You've heard it before. You'll hear it again. You'll hear it every single time until you all join the Discord. Before we get into that, if you have any interesting topics you'd like us to discuss, let us know in the Discord. Again, linktree.com/Anime Degens. And how are you doing, Nam?
I'm doing pretty good. Following on with a trend earlier, I haven't had to work this week. It's been really nice, really calming, really relaxing.
Love that.
Yeah. Finally got through Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Ooh,
so
there you go.
Yeah, power through that one again. I beat it on PlayStation when it first came out, but getting on PC, just wanted to beat it before diving into Rebirth, so that is my next task.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Well, me and Nam forgot to look up any news today, so I'm going to pull some highlights I'm seeing right now. Yugioh Tsujisugu's anime or manga, Snowball Earth, is getting a TV anime in 2026. I have no idea what that is, but if you're a fan of Snowball Earth, get hyped. Coming to 2026. Also, yes, that could be the news. Demon Slayer just officially topped 200 million copies in circulation. That is a pretty impressive achievement there. Congratulations to the Demon Slayer community and their love of the manga. And we're getting a live action series based on Webtoon. Spirit Fingers just unveiled its teaser trailer. So if you're into Webtoons, check that out. And everything else I am seeing is congratulations, everyone. New anime is out. We're getting reviews of season premieres. That's the news, ladies and gentlemen.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. You got any news on your end, Nam?
No, nothing that I've seen, nothing notable.
Your staycation has been stellar, I hope.
Yes, it has been quite relaxing, very quiet.
Love that for you. Nice, relaxing. That's what you need, dude. I need a little relaxing vacation. Like my vacation I went golfing for 7 days. It was a little bit of a workout, playing 10 rounds of golf in 7 days, hitting a lot of balls. But
oh yeah,
I could definitely use some time on the couch,
Not even just the couch, man. You're in bed, right? The alarm goes off. You turn the alarm off and you go right back to bed.
It's insane that you even left your alarm active.
I'm not even bothering with it, dude. I'm just too lazy to bother with it.
It's like, it's gonna go off. I'm gonna turn it off and go back to bed. And what happens when you snooze your alarm and turn it off and then go back to bed, you sleep like 10 times better. It's a fact.
Every time.
Every single time.
Even like a couple midday naps. Those are peak, dude, right there.
I am the king of the Sunday afternoon nap. That is Dan time. Like typically, during the NFL season, my team, the Patriots, they play at 1 p.m. And then I go to that next game at like 4 or 4:25, whatever it is. and I sleep for 2 hours. It is fantastic.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, awesome. Now that we're done talking about napping, you want to get to a topic that when we were children, you had to wake up early to catch these.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Even still, they still run it to this day. It's very, very recurring. Saturday morning cartoons, man.
Are they still doing like the anime on Saturday mornings these days?
They're still doing Saturday morning cartoons, yeah.
That is incredible.
That's still a thing, yeah.
I remember, like, for me, it was like WB13 was the channel. Like the Warner Bros. Channel was like where you went to watch Pokemon, Digimon, the show we're going to talk about today, Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't think Beyblade was on there because I'm actually no, Beyblade was on there, I think.
It ended up there later on in its run. Typically, a lot of those shows, after like a season or two came out, they finally then started airing on the Saturday morning.
I think One Piece was on there for a while, the good old 4Kids dub. And
Another thing we're going to be talking about.
Sonic X was on there too.
Sonic X was legendary, though.
That is a show that I highly recommend you go look at the subbed version instead of the dubbed version, because Eggman is a horny bastard and he makes multiple comments about Rouge's big boobs, which is fucking hilarious.
Hell yeah. Hilarious. I'm with him.
Dude, hey man, I'm not into bats, but if I was, what's up? What's up? But awesome. As we've alluded to, today we are going to dive into the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime, and we're going to discuss a few different topics. We're going to be looking at mine and Om's favorite characters, some things like that. We're going to look at the good old 4Kids treatment because obviously Yu-Gi-Oh got changed quite a bit when it came to America. We're going to take a look at Yu-Gi-Oh Season 0, which not everybody knows about. And then we're going to look at some of my favorite things from Yu-Gi-Oh! And of course, that is the memes that this show has led to. Before we get into that, we're going to start with just a little icebreaker. You know, we're gonna warm up here before we get into the nitty-gritty of it. Nam, who is your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Character?
All right, so this is a character that he didn't really have a whole lot of screen time, right? He was a short, I guess, a gimmicky antagonist, right? Is what I would consider him.
Yeah, gimmicky antagonist later joins the crew awkwardly.
Yeah, well, that's why I say gimmicky antagonist. He's not really an antagonist. He's misunderstood, right? Like those teenage rebels.
He's a little rebellious.
And as well, he's obviously, teenage. He's not an adult. Obviously, we're talking about the number one person in all of Duel Monsters.
False.
Duke Devlin, dude.
Duke Devlin.
He's a goat.
Duke Devlin is.
Go ahead.
He's a board game genius, dude. That's it.
He is. For those of you who don't know, Duke Devlin was the creator of Dungeon Dice Monsters. It took the premise of Duel Monsters and turned it into a little board game with dice. You had to match up certain symbols to be able to do certain actions on the board. And essentially, you built a maze that led to your opponent's guardian, so that way you could chip away at their life points.
Their heart points, dude.
Heart points. Sorry,
you got hearts. No life points.
It was a really cool concept, and I wish that they had explored it a little bit deeper. But at the same time, his character design really stuck out a lot, especially to a very young, I don't know, like 7-8-year-old. Might have been older than that. I don't know. I would say like 9, 10-ish.
Between the ages of 7 and 10 is going to be my guess.
Yep. But he always just kind of stuck out as a character and stuff like that. And like he was always playing with the dice, which I always found really cool. You know, he was just more active on the scene than anyone else as far as a character went, and it made him stand out a lot more. So that would be my choice. I mean, if I had to go for like a second choice, it would definitely be Yami.
Yami,
Yeah. Yeah,
respect.
not Yugi, but Yami himself.
The fucking
The Emperor.
Pharaoh.
Pharaoh. Close enough.
A 10. We got to put his real name out there. Come on, man. He didn't learn it until the very last episode, but your boy was a 10.
Yo.
I respect that. Duke Devlin was a fun character. I mean, my favorite thing about Duke Devlin was the fact that he beat Joey in a duel. Not even Dungeon Dice Monsters. He beat Joey in a duel and they made him dress up as a fucking dog and just belittled his character so much. And it's just like in the dub, you're just hearing Joey fucking bark in a Brooklyn accent. It's fucking hilarious.
And then you had all the cheerleaders too that were yelling at him and stuff like that, calling him a bad dog.
I mean, dude, a homeboy had a fucking harem of cheerleaders.
But no, so yeah.
It was pretty pathetic that the man created, or I guess the teenager, he's not a man at this point, but like the dude creates this fucking complex game, Dungeon Dice Monsters, and literally the first time they play it, Yami just fucking wipes the floor with them. Like you're kind of shit. You're kind of shit at your own game, dude.
That, or let's be real, Yami's kind of unfair being the king of games.
King of games.
Dude is literally just naturally gifted when it comes to games involving monsters.
100%. And frankly, if we want to talk, we're going to talk about it later, but he's played a lot of other games. We find that out in Yugioh Season 0, and those games are way more fucked up.
Rightly, awesome. They are. Who's your favorite character, though?
My favorite character is, in my opinion, the GOAT of the original Yu-Gi-Oh series, and that is none other than Kaiba. Seto Kaiba is one of the most savage characters in all of anime, in my opinion, dude. He is just such a rich prick, and I find it absolutely hilarious. It's so good.
My favorite thing about it too is that like they really dove into that so well. He plays the arrogant rich kid to a T.
Oh, 100%. Like, I mean, some of my favorite moments of Kaiba are like, first off, we're getting into Battle City, and he's like, there's like a registration for the tournament, and he just looks at Mokuba and goes, Mokuba, make sure Wheeler's late so he can't register for the fucking tournament. And then later,
Joey's like right there, too, standing right in front of him.
Right in front of him. He's like, I fucking hate Wheeler, dude. Wheeler sucks. Wheeler's the worst person in the world. And then, like, there's another scene where they're in a rush, and Kaiba just writes a blank check, essentially, to buy a car. And he writes for the line Joey Wheeler's net worth or something like that, and hands it to the car dealer and just storms off in this fucking sports car. And then one of the other ones that really stands out to me is, I think it's during the theme park arc. I don't know what that's actually called, the Kaiba Land arc, right? Okay. And he's watching this video about his father's estranged other son. And he's like, oh, it's so-and-so. Pauses and then just goes, nice clothes, dork. Like, he's such a fucking tool. But the one-liners are all time. And he ends up becoming like, I don't want to say he has like a redemption arc, but over time he becomes a better and better person. I mean, he literally starts the show off kidnapping Yugi's grandfather, beating him in a duel, and then tearing up the fourth Blue Eyes in front of him, which literally puts him in a fucking coma.
To note just how important it is, there's only 4 Blue Eyes in circulation in the show. 4 total. And he just ripped up the 4th one. Like it was nothing. You know,
I mean, I'll be honest with you, the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon didn't have 4 heads, so why did you need 4 dragons, right?
True. But yeah, he was definitely just on a different level. If I had to equate him to anything, he was definitely anti-hero.
100%.
He was
100%.
never a villain per se. But he definitely didn't really care too much about
Egypt?
ATEM.
No. He did. I mean, he just thought it was all magic bullshit. Like, he's like, none of this is real. You're not the fucking pharaoh. This Egypt bullshit. Get it out of here. Which I kind of respect, because that's how I would be. I'm like, yeah, you're not a fucking magic dude. You're fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
But have you seen the Yu-Gi-Oh movie Dark Side of the Dimensions yet? Have you watched that?
No, I have not seen it yet.
Okay, so it's on Amazon Prime. Highly recommend you watch it. Basically, the plot of this movie is Kaiba is so butthurt that Atem went into the afterlife and he never got to beat him in a duel. So it starts with him building a perfect simulation of the Pharaoh, beating in a duel and going, nah, that's not good enough. And like, he's talking about how much time and effort he put into this. And he literally goes like, I had everything correct. I had his deck. I had his strategies. I had the coiffed of his hair. And then he goes under his breath, I spent the most time on that. But the point of this movie is that Kaiba is trying to basically find all the pieces of the Millennium Puzzle to put it back together. And his goal is to literally travel to the afterlife so he can duel the Pharaoh again, and he fucking succeeds.
Jesus.
He literally spends so much money that he can create technology to go to the afterlife. He is that petty. And that is just Kaiba in a nutshell. Like, the man has no understanding of money. He spends money to do what he wants, and that's a guy I fucking love. He's got a blue eyes white dragon jet. He fucking has the coolest coming in the Kaiba Land tournament arc. He has the coolest like fucking entrance of all time. He flies his private fucking blue eyes jet in, jumps out with a goddamn jetpack, and lands on the stage to introduce the tournament. Like, dude, Kaiba's the fucking man.
He's definitely a step above, that's for sure.
He is extra.
Maybe a little too
love it.
extra for the show, but he
It's,
is all the extra show, or he's all the extra that the show has at the same time.
it's definitely needed. You know, like, we need that energy. Like, Kaiba's energy is just fucking contagious.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that guy on like TikTok who cosplays at Kaiba?
No.
Oh my god, I gotta find some reels to send him. I'll put him in the Discord so everybody can check him out. It's so funny. He's at like an anime convention. He's in cosplay, obviously. And he's like, "Hey Yugi, why didn't you come to Anime Con?" And all of a sudden it zooms out and there's like 7 different Dark Magician Girl cosplays next to me. He's like, "It looks like you forgot something." It's so fucking funny. The man's rolling around in the briefcase, just fucking like full of blue eyes white dragons. It's hysterical.
That's great.
Definitely. But now that we've talked favorite characters, we obviously have to talk about favorite duel monster.
Yes.
Who's your favorite duel monster?
So this one is a bit tricky. I did really enjoy a lot of the magicians, right? Because if we're just sticking with duel monsters themselves, it's the magicians that I'm going for. But there's one in particular that I really want to highlight. It's not the Dark Magician. It's not the Dark Magician girl, as much as everyone would probably assume. It's not the Magician of Black Chaos. Those are all great magicians.
A little wiser.
Yeah.
A little older.
You know? Well, like 1,000 years, I would say.
You know, perfectly the time that a time wizard would use to take a baby dragon to a 1,000-year dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Picking up what you're putting down.
For those of you who don't know yet, I'm talking about the Dark Sage. It was it was definitely a real, as Dan put it earlier, in our private talks, it was a real ass pull in the show.
100%.
But the card's really cool though, because it does allow you to bring it out on the field, and then you can actually pull a spell card from your deck and put it into your hand. So it gave you something really, really cool and powerful that you could have used for a number of different things. Um, Not to mention too, is just a step above the Dark Magician. And if you happen to also have Baby Dragon on the field, hey, two birds in one stone.
And you know what the best part of seeing this in the show was? Is that the fact that Joey was like, I'm gonna make my 1,000-year dragon, and your dark magician's gonna turn to fucking ash because he's gonna get old as dirt. Nah, bro, power up. That was really interesting. Like, I'm pretty sure the dark sage actually has like a higher defense stat than attack stat, which I thought was really interesting because that's like the opposite of the dark magician, you know?
Yep. It was 28 attack and 3,000 defense.
Okay.
So,
Hell yeah. But dude, that monster design was so fucking cool. Like, it's just bigger. He's got this chest plate on, this big ass beard. Like, that shit was so clean.
oh yeah. And then just like the intimidating like pose that he had when they did actually bring him out.
Oh, he's like sitting cross-legged with his fucking staff. Yeah, that shit was hard, dude. Absolutely.
Yep. What about
Awesome.
you? What's your favorite monster?
So I've got two. One is based on the anime. The other is based on a video game I played as a kid. But we're gonna start with my favorite card from the anime, and that is the Winged Dragon of Ra, one of the Egyptian god cards. Doesn't really come from like the story side of it or anything like that. I just think this monster has such a cool design, and it is probably the most broken card in Yu-Gi-Oh outside of Exodia.
Fair.
It's got like three forms. It's got a ball form, it's got the normal form, and then it can turn into a fucking phoenix. Like, the Winged Dragon of Ra is just super cool. And it was such like a good card for your antagonist Merrick to have, because it was really challenging for Yugi to overcome this, even with Slay for the Sky Dragon, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I also rewatched a little bit of the Slifer fight, and just seeing how his abilities work too. It's even crazier just thinking that like the Winged Dragon of Ra was that much more OP than all of the other one, than both of the other ones.
Oh, 100%, dude. And like the fact that you could only summon this card if you knew a very specific chant, that shit was crazy. And like the card is written in a language no one knows. I mean, Almighty Protector of the Sun and Sky, I beg of thee, please heed my cry. Just to fucking throw a card on your dual disc, that shit goes hard. I don't care. That is aura right there, you know?
Oh yeah.
And then my second one, if you've ever played Yu-Gi-Oh games, you may have heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. This was a PlayStation game that actually came out before the rules of the card game were even created. And it was just batshit crazy. There were no rules. You could just like fuse things out of your hand. And I have a really special place in my heart for the twin-headed Thunder Dragon, which is literally the only way to beat this game. Basically, you take a dragon, you take a thunder monster, and if they're under like 1600 attack, you have to fuse three monsters. You get this badass thing. There's a million equip cards that work with it, and it is the only way to beat this game. Like, this game, the RNG is insane. You can't get the cards your opponents have. Like, your opponents are out there with like perfectly ultimate great moths, Black Skull dragons, like all these crazy cards, and you're sitting there with a deck of like 1,000 attack point monsters. So it is literally the only way to beat this game. I played this game a shit ton as a kid. I could never beat it. And then I finally did it as an adult, and it was incredibly gratifying. I still play it on my phone all the time. It's kind of sad, but I fucking love this game, and this card just holds a super special place in my heart because of that.
Not to mention too, though, there was a lot of other combinations that you could make, and they were all pretty strong too. But yeah, no, twin-headed Thunder Dragon was a good, easy to make go-to that just really helped take down a lot of opponents really easily.
Oh yeah, when you have your final fight against like OG Seto Kaiba from Egypt, his first card is 99% of the time just Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon with 4,500 attack. There's no way to beat it without getting lucky and getting a twin-headed Thunder Dragon and 3 equips in your hand. That's it. Like, you take a 2,800 attack point monster, you got to get up over 4,500. Like, it's insane how hard this game actually was.
Yeah.
Awesome. We got favorite monsters. Let's talk favorite arcs. What do you got for me, Nam?
I do want to do a quick honorable mention for Dungeon Dice Monsters. Like I said
Obviously.
earlier, I did really enjoy that one. But no, I think for this one, there's no sense in us really talking about it separately.
I agree.
We both really enjoy the Battle City arc the most.
It's just like the best arc in the OG Yu-Gi-Oh anime. I mean, obviously Duelist Kingdom is timeless, but I think the duels and the stakes just increasingly escalate. We're going from save my grandpa, make $3 million to get my sister her eye surgery so she can see, or just being Kaiba and just being petty as fuck, to actually having the fate of the world on the line. And I think it's always hilarious when you have a bunch of 16-year-olds running around with cards playing for the fate of the world. I mean, one thing I really love about the Battle City arc is how the rules of the game changed at this point. We went from the 2,000 life points to the 4,000 life points. You could do direct attacks. And the outcomes of these duels, you know, we didn't have stars on the line here. If you lost a duel, you lost your best card. So that was like real stakes. I mean, if Yugi lost a duel, he'd lose Dark Magician. Didn't happen. Joey did lose his Red Eyes Black Dragon, which is obviously tragic. Yugi ended up winning it back. But I thought it was just really cool. I mean, Joey got some really cool cards in this arc. He got Jinzo. Obviously, Yugi got Slifer. This is also the arc where Merrick was just being a fucking scumbag and like using his Egyptian Millennium Rod powers to just like take over people and duel for fun, just sitting in a fucking like coffee shop, basically. So I thought there were some really cool things here. And the duels we got in this arc were all time. I mean, there's so many good ones. We had the introduction of the Egyptian god cards. And did you have a favorite duel in this arc, Nam?
One of my favorite ones was actually the Magician duel.
Okay. Ooh.
Where it was Yugi against that guy with the mask, and there was there's the laser blades, right? We'll touch up on that one in a little bit, because that was actually one of the episodes that I did happen to see, as far as like the difference. But anyways,
definitely.
So that was one of them, just because again it created the stakes being what they were. It also highlighted a couple newer cards being shown in the show, right?
Definitely.
So like at that point we had seen Dark Magician Girl, but we had never actually really seen her on the board yet. So we got to see a lot of interaction with that, and then we also got to see a little bit too of Merrick's power in that episode as well.
Definitely.
When the guy
yeah.
would cheat and run away.
Definitely. Yeah, the duel, his name was Arcana.
Yes.
That was a cool duel. We had some extra stakes. We had some magic laser saw blades that were gonna cut through the loser of the duel. So that was fun. One thing I found really interesting in this duel is that since Yugi won, he technically got a second version of the Dark Magician from this duel. But it turns out that Arcana was cheating, and he like cut up and roughed up the edges of his Dark Magician to know when he draw it. So technically, Yugi can't have two Dark Magicians because that one was tampered with, so he couldn't actually use it in the game.
Yeah.
Fucking cheater.
That was another thing too that was very prevalent throughout this entire series or this arc. Even going back as far as the Jinzo.
Cheats.
Yeah. Everyone cheats. And it was a matter of how they cheated though too. Like Jinzo, the guy that was using that deck. Oh, what was his name? Esper Rob?
Espa.
But anyways,
Esperoba?
Esperoba, yes. He used all of his little brothers and sisters.
With
They would spy on
binoculars.
the cards, yeah, and then they would tell him what it was, and that's how he was like, I'm a psychic. I'm
Yeah.
gonna figure out what you're gonna do. And then he used Jinzo. Or even then too, who was it? Was it the Exodia guy that had Slifer?
No, it was the weird guy with the piercings.
Yes, that didn't talk because he used
Until
control.
until Merrick like came out pissed off, and he had that weird slime gel monster,
Yes.
and he could basically make endless slimes. And then
Yeah.
he just basically had a deck that was focused on putting as many cards in his hand as he could, summoning Slifer, and having like a 7,000 attack point monster.
Yeah. But no, not that guy, but the other guy, the Exodia deck
you're
rare
talking.
hunter.
Yeah, dude, that shit
So-
was so legendary.
But how he had all of those cards that were just all fakes. Every single one of them. So it was crazy too that like there was so much cheating going on in this arc too.
Oh yeah, I mean the rare hunters are all scumbags. But like you think about it though, we go back even farther, back to Duelist Kingdom. Mai was cheating.
Yeah.
She sprayed all her cards with different perfumes so she could pretend she was the psychic and knew what she was going to draw. But the key thing here is that nothing can defeat the heart of the cards, aka asspulls.
Yes. Namely, Yami's asspulls.
I mean, hey man, if you're the king of games, you can do whatever you want. And
It's
we're going to
true,
get into that in a little bit, actually.
You
when we
make up
talk-
the rules as you go.
When we talk about the 4Kids treatment, we'll get into some of the things they did and some of the things they did to actually avoid letting kids know what the real rules of the game were. Yeah, there were so many good duels in this in this arc. Sorry, not in this deck. A lot of good cards in this deck though, because it's my grandfather's deck, and my grandfather's deck has no pathetic cards, but it does contain the unstoppable Exodia. But some of my favorite duels from this arc, they're the highlight duels. Obviously, I loved Yugi versus Merrick when Yugi versus Joey when Merrick took over Joey.
Yep.
When they're both chained to an anchor fighting in the port, and whoever loses is going to get dragged to their death. Like that's kind of a cool arc. I mean, it's especially hard for for Yugi. That's his best friend. You can't defeat your best friend and kill him. Like the stakes were pretty high there. Sure, he's going to go to the Shadow Realm. He's not going to die, but you know, the Shadow Realm ain't.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one again.
In the bottom of the ocean.
Kids.
Definitely. I really like the Yugi and Kaiba rematch here. This is our first time we really got to see two Egyptian god cards clash. We had fucking Obelisk versus Slifer, and that duel was all time. But I think for me, like the shadow game between Merrick and Yugi for all the marbles was really cool. I mean, that duel was just incredible to watch.
Oh yeah, every time that Yugi's involved and there's a shadow game, it's always a much higher stake fight, and there's always so much more that happens. But it's always really enjoyable to see how it all unfolds too, because it's always gonna turn out for the best. It's never gonna be bad.
Definitely. And our final little warm-up question here I got. Have you watched any of the other Yu-Gi-Oh series?
One other one.
Okay, which one?
I've watched GX.
Fuck yeah.
I've watched that one in its entirety.
So you had to go watch that last season subbed because they never dubbed it?
Yes.
Hell yeah. Dude, GX is so good. Like
It
honestly,
was good until the final season, and then they just kind of went fucking AWOL
they're like
with the whole Yubel.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you're the reincarnation of a king, and you're gonna be possessed / fall in love with this demon baddie. What's up?
Yep.
Yeah.
I did try watching 5Ds, but I don't know. Like the bike premise is cool. I can't just get I don't know. Something about it just wasn't clicking with me.
Yeah, I think I made it through a good chunk of 5Ds, and I was like, okay, this is just kind of stupid at this point. And then I haven't watched anything past that. But my thing is I just always go back and like I don't know, once every like 2 years, I go back and watch the original Yu-Gi-Oh, just because it's such a good fucking nostalgia trip, you know?
Oh yeah. Well, that and then like, have you played Duel Links or Master Duel?
Yeah, I played Master Duel.
So like you've probably tried out the Zexal or the Arc V, or they have those other game modes, and it actually makes you play by those rules. And let me tell you,
I am
they
lost.
are really confusing. Yeah.
Dude, this card game is off the fucking rails at this point. Like, I don't even know. Like, they have link summons, they have all this crazy shit, and I'm like, I don't know what this means.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where GX was cool because it added on to something that was already existing in the series, the fusions. It took it a
Yeah.
step further, which I really liked, but outside of that, it was way too much after that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, me and Nam are gonna be sitting here in our fucking rocking chairs at like 70 years old talking to our grandkids, but like, back when I played Yu-Gi-Oh, you would set one monster face down, drop a drop card, and end your turn. And the kids these fucking days are like 14 combo moves to open and put like a 4,000 attack point monster out there, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. Like, the synchro monsters were cool. I don't know how they work. I have no fucking clue
Yeah.
how they work, but that concept was cool. And it's just off the rails from there. I have no idea how to play this game anymore.
Yeah, no, because in synchro monsters, you need one synchro monster, you need one non-synchro monster. You combine them together, they make a synchro monster, which may actually be stronger than either of those monsters. It may be weaker, but have a better effect. And then you're doing, 3-card combos to try and fucking,
Yeah.
get a
I mean,
BLT, and I don't know.
yeah, I mean the synchros were all based on the stars the cards had, right? So like you could take like a 2-star synchro and a 3-star monster and make like a 5-star synchro, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Look at it. See, we're figuring out the game.
I, dude, I like see like those clips of people playing like Master Duel or Duel Links, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know what the fuck
Yeah.
happened. I'm just gonna make an Exodia deck and hope that I can pull all 5 pieces in one turn and flip you off.
There you go. Yeah, I tried doing a couple of those higher end maps, or higher end newer series, and just it's too much.
Yeah. That's why I go play the old Yu-Gi-Oh games. You know, like I had one on my Game Boy. I think it was called Eternal Duelist of the Heart or something like that. And that was the OG rules. And it played through like the Battle City arc. And that game was really fun. It was on my Game Boy Advanced. Dating myself here, but that game was really fun.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. Yeah, that one was a blast.
And one thing I really like too about the old Yu-Gi-Oh games is you could actually type in that little code at the bottom of your cards and just fucking import them. So like
Yeah.
you pick up the game and like, oh, you have a starter deck, and you're like, nah, bro, I got a fucking Blue Eyes, I got a Dark Magician, I got a Summon Skull, I got Battle Ox, fucking Vorse Raider, all these like Gemini Elf, all these like Jet cards. You're like, ha, suck it, nerds.
Yeah.
I was
This is my starter deck.
I was channeling my inner Kaiba by pretending I was buying the best cards in the game.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Did you ever go online and just look up all the codes and start putting those in too for all the cards that you didn't have but really wanted?
No, definitely not. Definitely didn't do that. Definitely didn't do that. Definitely didn't cheat.
We know that you're a liar. Everyone did that.
Definitely didn't do that, Nom. I used to love, so you could do it in Forbidden Memories and you'd put in like a really good card like Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and it'd be like, you need 99,999 stars to get this card. You're like, oh fuck. You got like 2 stars a duel.
It made you really work for it.
Oh yeah. Well, awesome. So we got you guys warmed up. Hopefully now we're gonna get into the classic debate, sub versus dub. But we're not going to argue about which one's better. We're really going to focus on the 4Kids treatment and how much this show actually changed coming to America. Like, it's totally different show. It's geared towards a different audience. And if you haven't checked it out yet, the sub is on Crunchyroll. And I think the dub is on Hulu. So if you're like me, you go watch the dub. But definitely check out the sub if you're interested in seeing a darker side of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes, much darker.
And speaking of that darker side, really we want to start with talking about like the dialogue and tone of the show changes dramatically when we go from the original to the 4Kids dub. The original show was meant for teenagers. Like, it was like a legit shonen anime. And then it actually not even, it was like a kind of a higher level shonen anime. Like, you know, meant for teenagers, like 13, 14-year-olds. And then when it came here, like, now we're making this for 7-year-olds. Fuck yeah.
Yep. And it was just shocking. So I watched a couple of the episodes subbed before we started today. And just the difference in how they go about some of those conversations, right? Like before, in the 4Kids version, it's always uplifting and positivity and how do we make this situation better? How do we, you know, promote, you know,
The
good
power of friendship.
stuff like that? Exactly. Whereas in the sub, it's like, Joey, you're a fucking idiot. It's like, oh, they
Yeah.
definitely would not have done that. And he's just like, I'm getting really sick of this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's much more mature. But like the themes of the show too changed dramatically. Like, obviously, Yu-Gi-Oh! In America was two things. It was the heart of the cards, and it was the power of friendship. There's nothing else the show is about. And with the original, it dealt with a lot more serious themes like death, trauma, psychological struggles. Like, there was a lot more to the show, and it was a lot more emotional, which is really cool to see. And while it kind of sucks for us now that they did make those changes, it makes perfect sense. This show was geared to sell kids to, or teach kids to buy cards. You know, that's what it was here for. It was a money making machine. Yu-Gi-Oh! At its height, or at its peak, was just as popular, if not more popular, than Pokemon in the trading card scene. Like, it made perfect sense. But the original had so many changes made to it. Like, the biggest one I think for me is like, oh, you're gonna get banished to the shadow realm. You're gonna go live in this alternate dimension where your soul is trapped. Nah, in the original, 90% of the time you just died.
Yep.
You just fucking cut.
It was the Shadow Games, not the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, it was
And the Shadow Games was where you're playing with your soul.
Exactly. And I definitely get why they changed that.
Yeah, as a 7-year-old hearing, you know, oh, I'm gonna kill you. I'm not exactly very prone to go out and be like, hey mom, let me go out and get these cards. She's gonna be like, no. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
I'm gonna send your ass to the shadow realm, mom. What?
Yeah. Like that's not gonna go over very well. But yeah, I don't know. It just, the thing that sucked about it too though was it did strip it down to just another kid show. Which really sucks because there's a lot of shows out there that, I mean, yeah, they have to make some subtle changes, but they don't have to change like the entire script. They don't have to change how the show is and how it plays out to, you know, make it suitable for us.
This is how 4Kids made their bag though back in the day. I mean,
I know.
They butchered One Piece. They kidified Yu-Gi-Oh! They took boob jokes out of Sonic X. Like, that's just what 4Kids does, dude.
I know. I can still not be happy with it.
Well, honestly, I don't think I would have watched Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was like 7 if it was that dark. Like, I would have been like, oh, this is kind of creepy, you know?
Oh, for sure. I mean, at the same time, it's one of those things where like the One Piece rap is iconic and forever stuck in my mind. And that's something that we can.
Iconic in the worst way.
Yes, but at the same time, it's something that you'll never forget, and that's thank you 4Kids for that. So there's bad, and then there's really really bad.
Definitely, and I will say the 4Kids opening for Yu-Gi-Oh, fucking all time.
Yes,
Like
especially hearing the difference between like the original one that they had for the sub and then hearing the just knowing the 4Kids version. Like I hate to say it, but I do prefer the 4Kids version more.
I think a lot of that's nostalgia.
A good chunk of it, I would wager, is.
I think a lot of that's nostalgia, but dude, that song is so sick. It's just like epic music, and then all of a sudden, it's time to duel, and like you get like the crazy Egyptian noises going on in the back. Dude, timeless.
Oh yeah,
bangerang, great song. So the next thing we're going to talk about is they actually had in the original, the card designs were what they should have been in like what they look like in the game. And when it came to America, they had to drastically change the card designs for a few reasons, all of them relating to pretty much legal issues. So it turns out that in America, you're not allowed to have TV shows that freely promote real products. So they had to take the card designs and change them to not make them look like the trading cards you would buy in the store, which I think is really interesting because I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it's strange, but it makes sense too because again, if your show's about promoting a product, it's basically just advertising.
100%.
Which I get, yeah, you can do that.
230 episodes.
You're also showing them something that the product will not actually produce. Like if you're there to sell the cards, that's fine. But if you're there to sell them on the idea that they could play these card games and get these holographic images of these monsters battling each other, that's where you're going to have a lot of issues. And in America, we're pretty dumb. Let's be honest, Dan. We are fucking dumb. General population. Go ahead.
I had some fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards that looked like the ones in the anime, and they were some of my favorite.
Nice.
They were just cool as shit.
I'm not saying that like the designs aren't cool, but like at the same time, the majority of people would have expected to be able to also get some sort of a holographic projector.
True, which they are doing in VR now, which is really cool.
Yes.
We'll talk about that a little bit because it's fucking hilarious. And there are a couple other reasons they did this. So another reason was to save time animating the show with the changes they had to make, because they didn't want to take the dialogue on every single card and translate it to English and actually write the rules out. So they said, fuck it. You're getting a bar at the bottom with your attack and defense points. And then the last part, which is actually my favorite, is the original version took a little bit less liberties with the rules of the card game that we know and love from the anime. So they didn't put the actual effects of cards because they didn't want kids to realize that you couldn't fuse, I don't know, say Mammoth Graveyard, the Living Arrow, and Polymerization to take a Blue Eyes, turn it into a melting pot of goo, and defeat it. Like, so they didn't put the rules of the cards on there so kids wouldn't notice that the 4Kids dub did not follow the rules of the game at all, and I think that's hilarious.
It seems very fitting, though, that it's something that 4Kids would do. Hey, we'll just make up things as we go, so that way it makes sense.
Definitely. It added some flair, dude. It made it more fun. I definitely think the bending of the rules and Yami's ability to pull things out of his ass definitely made the show more fun.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
He played with stone tablets back in the day, so, that's probably the rules they had.
Sure, I mean, he's also the king of games, so he just made up the rules as he went.
I mean, dude, he basically made the card game.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Awesome. So the next thing we're going to talk about is censorship. there is a lot of censorship in the 4Kids version of this anime. Some things you'll notice, and we'll actually link a quick YouTube video showing some examples of this. They removed everything that resembled a gun in this show. So any monster that had a gun, all of a sudden it randomly turned into like a beam rifle. Why not? And like we were talking about the battle with Arcana earlier in the Battle City arc. In the original, it wasn't beam saw blades, it was literal fucking saw blades poking out of the wall. You could see the jagged edges. And that's pretty much a little more high stakes. What do you think, Nam?
Oh, 100%. I'm going to be a lot more terrified of an actual saw blade than some sort of mystical, beam blade.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And one thing they also did too, which I think is super interesting, is they removed any sign of like a religious symbol throughout the game. So there's a lot of cards they had to alter to take crosses off them, things like that. And there's a scene in the I don't remember the name of the arc. It's when they get sucked into Kaiba's virtual Duel Monsters game.
Yep.
In those pods. And Kaiba is like captured by the board of Kaiba Corp. And they have him like tied to a rock in this virtual world. And he's talking to some weird magician card. I can't remember the name of it. But in the original anime, that was a full-on cross. Like Kaiba was fucking being crucified.
Yep. And what was even interesting too is that at the top of that cross, there's actually a saw blade.
Oh yeah. I mean, they took out all the weapons. They took out any connotation to a religious symbol, which is really interesting. They didn't screw with certain things that were more like, I don't want to say like magic circles and stuff they didn't mess with, but anything related to like Christianity or anything like that was removed. One thing I forgot to talk about.
Mentions of just gods. So one thing too, one of the episodes I watched was the Slifer versus Obelisk fight in subbed, and a lot of the times they just kept making mentions to Yugi summoned his god, Kaiba summoned his god, right? They just said god. They didn't specify god card. Whereas, like, even in the 4Kids dub, it's always God card. They always added card afterwards. It was never just God.
Which is a subtle change, but it definitely does take away from the, I'm trying to think of the right word, not awesomeness, but like the gravity
of what the cards are, yeah.
These legendary monsters, you know? Let's see. Other censorship was related to some of our sexier cards. So the 4Kids dub also toned down the sex appeal of Yu-Gi-Oh! Some changes were that I can think of off the top of my head. So Mai, in the original, she's not wearing a jacket, and her shirt's a little more low cut. They're really showing them things off.
Yep.
And some cards like the Harpy Sisters, or the Harpy Ladies, sorry, the Harpy Ladies, Harpy Lady, not Harpy, well, the Harpy Lady Sisters, you know what I'm saying. They added a little fabric to those girls. Which makes sense. Again, we're taking a show that was meant for like 14, 15-year-olds and bringing it down to a level that's appropriate for 10-year-olds. So it makes sense. But just interesting changes there, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And the last thing with it, too, some of the censorship was really focused on the card names. So they actually changed card names to make them a little more politically correct, I want to say. I don't think that was a thing back in like the early 2000s. That was the goal. Like the original name of Yugi's go-to monster, the Dark Magician, is actually the Black Magician. Cleaned it up a little.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, they could have at least made him black. Right? Gotta have that inclusivity,
Maybe.
That would have got a lot of flack if they had a black magician who was literally black.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have been like, whoa, what are you doing here?
It would have been a lot worse than just calling him the Black Magician and still making him white anyways.
Hey, man, Young Bass would have loved it. Awesome. And I think like the other major change that we see with the dub versus sub is they fully just changed where the show takes place. So obviously, Yu-Gi-Oh takes place in Japan, but when you bring it to America for America audiences, takes place in the US of A, baby. And
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Bandit Keith, he's just a guy now. He's not a weird American who came to
Yeah,
duel his
dude.
kingdom.
He's just chilling at home. This is his backyard.
But that's like one of the funny parts too, is they talk about how Bandit Keith is like a champion from the United States, and the show takes place in the United States. It makes no sense. Also, a lot of the food was actually changed in the show. This is the common trope. It's like when Brock is holding a rice ball in Pokemon and goes, "Ooh, a jelly donut." And it's clearly fucking onigiri. And they did the same thing in Yu-Gi-Oh, but they actually edited the food. So they did make changes there to make it more relatable for the kiddos. And I think my favorite part of this to really solidify that we are in the United States is Joey's Brooklyn accent.
Oh yeah. I mean, a really thick Brooklyn accent. Like we're talking straight up middle of Brooklyn, New York accent.
And you know what the best part of this is? His sister does not have one at all.
Nope. Sounds just like any other normal generic cast member.
Oh, 100%. It's just funny. It's like, why'd you do it? I don't fucking know. Why not? And Joey Wheeler, man, what a legend.
The voice actor was bored. He wanted to give him a little flavor.
He might have been from Brooklyn, dude. That might just be his voice.
Shit.
They just went to New York City and walked around like, hey, you want to be fucking Joey Wheeler? Awesome. So that's kind of just a high level review, you know, discussing some of the changes that were made between the original and the good old 4Kids treatment. Honestly, we should do a whole episode on the 4Kids treatment. I think that'd be hilarious to talk about some of the other shows. Sanji's Lollipop, dude.
That should be next week's DGen. Just 4Kids, the 4Kids butcherings.
Hey, a lot of good memories, man. Let's be honest here. If it wasn't for 4Kids, we would not have had a joke in Pokemon about Vikings being from Minnesota. That shit's hilarious.
You're right.
Awesome. So next, we're going to get a little more serious. We're going to get a little more dark, and we're going to talk Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0. So if you don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually had an adaptation that came out before the Yu-Gi-Oh! We watched as kids. This was exclusive to Japan. You can watch both the original and a fan dub on YouTube. And this was released in 1998, and it was actually animated by Toei, which is pretty crazy. You know, I didn't think they had time back then because they were animating One Piece and Dragon Ball Z. But it turns out they did. And they made the most fucked up Yu-Gi-Oh! Show you'll ever watch.
Hands down.
So it turns out the anime that we all know and love, it skips essentially the first, like, I don't know how many chapters. I'm going to say like 10 chapters, 20 chapters, and dives right into Duel Monsters. And Yu-Gi-Oh!, before we had the cards introduced, focused on a variety of different games. And Yami Yugi was a fucking dick.
And it was very rare for him to come out. Like, we see him occasionally throughout the main series. And obviously, like, we know who he is, but when he comes out in Season 0, it's because he's there to play a game, and that's it. There's no other reason why he's going to show up.
And these are the original Shadow games. These are not like the bullshit we learned about growing up. Like, I think there's one, and all of these people, they did bad things. And then, like, they would literally, like, try to kill people, steal things, whatever. And then Yami Yugi would show up and be like, do you want to play a game? I'm going to place this lighter on your hand and pour you a glass of flammable liquor. And you can't move your hand. If you do, you will light on fire. And then he would banish their minds to the fucking Shadow Realm and they would turn into fucking vegetables.
Yep. absolutely insane. And
How many
it was crazy too because the games are always different. It was like the very first one, right? In the very first episode, they were on that tower, he slid the cards down, and you had to flip it, and you could climb up that many steps. And then the guy at the end, he was like, "Oh, this is nothing. I'm gonna just pull myself up there anyways," because he lost. He was like, "I'm just gonna pull myself up there and send you down, and I'm gonna win anyways." And it's like, "No, you're getting banished now because of your greed." Another guy, it was a watch, and he was like, "All right, stop it close to 10 seconds," and then whoever stops it the closest wins. So he did it, and on the second try, did all these different things to try and make it so that way he would be in his favor. Nope.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with cards at all. Nothing to do
No.
with duel monsters, and nothing at all.
We did get one Duel Monsters episode. It's when he fought green-haired Kaiba. I don't know if you made it to that one, but he does fight green-haired Kaiba in a Duel Monsters game. And Kaiba ends up cheating. And
Of course.
I'm pretty sure we don't even see the Dark Magician. Like, there's no Dark Magician in season 0. But I'm pretty sure Yugi summons Exodia. I'm pretty sure. I haven't watched it in a while. But it's just fucking dark, man. Like, the games are real stakes. None of it besides that one episode is Duel Monsters. And it's pretty crazy. Definitely recommend you check it out if you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! And you haven't seen it yet.
Yep. And what's crazy too, though, is that it still does kind of set up into like the newer show, the season 1, I'll say, in the way how it's like leading up, the way how the relationships and the interactions are going. They do gloss over a lot of the stuff that it covers in that one in season 1. So if you didn't want to watch this, you did want to watch the show, you don't have to watch this to understand a lot of it, but it does cover a lot of those things in its original form too, which was interesting to see. Like the bully that Yugi saves him from, he was really actually trying to strong arm Yugi for being a bodyguard.
Yeah, that is true. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So that was interesting to see. And then just like the whole, oh no, we're actually friends. Here, let me get you that piece. Even though I threw it into the water for you.
Mm. Yeah, it was interesting how they worked some of those mechanics back into the actual show, like just oddly, like just to kind of like skip all the psychological horror and set the premise.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Yeah, if you haven't checked it out, so when we release this episode, whenever I get a chance, I'll actually link Yugioh Season 0 in the Discord. I'll link the fan dub and the sub so you can check it out if you'd like. But now we're going to talk about one of the best parts of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that is the fact that this show is a meme machine. There are so many good memes that have come from this show. I mean, I don't know how many times I've said it, but anytime I'm playing a card game, I say Heart of the Cards. It just happens. It's what I do. One of my favorite
You don't
things.
even have to be playing either. Like I talk to you about cards and you're like, oh yeah, Heart of the Cards.
Heart of the Cards, baby. And then one of my favorite things to do back in the day before I was wifed up and, forgot how to talk to women was people like, oh, what do you look for in a girl? I'm like, blue eyes, white, dragon. But those are Dan jokes. That's a Dan joke. I don't know if anybody else ever said that. That's a good line. But there's so many good memes that have come from this show. I mean, we got to start with one of the best, and that is Pot of Greed. If you've never seen the VR chat clip of people playing Duel Monsters, and the guy's like, I summon Pot of Greed. This lets me draw 3 cards from my deck. And you hear the other guy, that's not how that works. He's like, I play Magic Force, which lets me play Pot of Greed, which lets me summon 3 cards from my deck. Dude plays like the same Pot of Greed card like 4 times in one turn. It's so funny.
And then the other guy's like, all right, and then I can just kill you because you don't have any monsters. He's like, no. Just no.
No. It's so funny, dude. And then one of my personal favorite memes to use is the classic, "It should have been me, not him." Anytime I'm watching an anime with a Dami Mommy and somebody maybe gets stepped on, that is my go-to meme. You've seen it in our Discord if you're in there. I've done it multiple times. I fucking love that meme, dude. It should have been me, not him. After Yugi gets fucking his soul banished or whatever.
It's just so dumb and so cheesy, but so iconic at the same time.
We also have another version of Yu-Gi-Oh. We've talked about a lot of different versions, but there's one on YouTube that's pretty timeless. Everybody knows DBZ Abridged. That's the only version of DBZ that Tyler knows. There's also a Yu-Gi-Oh Abridged, and it's pretty funny. I'm a big fan of it. It's hilarious. The voice acting is awful, not nearly as good as DBZ Abridged, but the jokes are pretty good.
I've been enjoying it. I'm not a big fan of the whole just ripping Beavis and Butthead straight out and making them
with Weevil,
Rex
with
and Weevil, yeah.
and Rex. It's pretty funny though.
But yeah, overall, it's been pretty funny. I've been enjoying it.
I love the part where Yugi is dueling Kaiba's dark side. And they're just like, "Oh, you're just a gay clown." And Yugi beats in the duel and he gets banished back to the Shadow Realm with Mind Crush, whatever. He's like, "Did I just kill a gay clown?" It's so funny, dude. It's so
Oh,
stupid.
yeah. I
And
can't
then
wait till I get to that episode.
I'm letting Nam take the last meme because this one has a backstory that I was unaware of, and I love this meme.
Yes. So I'm sure a lot of you have activated trap cards in your day. And I'm sure some of you have probably seen that "you just activated my trap card" meme. Picture of the guy, and he's got that face on, and the cards in his fingers. So, fun fact about that one, my coworker was talking to his buddy one day, and they were like, "Let's go to the library, play some Yu-Gi-Oh!" That photo was taken that same day. That is his buddy.
Nam's friend is in the background. Just kidding. I don't know.
No, he's off to his right in that photo. Yeah.
But the fact that you know meme royalty adjacently, of course, is fantastic.
Yeah, the guy actually had no idea it was even a meme until like just
10 years
last
later.
year.
Really?
Yeah, because the two of them were talking, and he's like, he ended up pulling up the photo, and he was like, "Hey, have you ever seen this?" And he was like, "What the hell? No."
That's so funny, dude. Can
He's
you
like,
imagine?
He's like, "When the hell did that happen?"
Can you imagine being a meme for like 10 plus years and having no fucking idea?
Just none at all. Yeah, no, Detroit Public Library. That's where that was.
That's incredible. That's so funny, dude. Ah, God, that I feel really good right now.
Yeah, is it because you just played a pot of greed?
I just drew 2 cards from my deck. I summon Pot of Greed. That lets me draw 2 cards from my deck. There's literally a compilation on YouTube of every time they say those exact lines on YouTube. Like, I figure, most people after, say, the 7th time they hear I use Pot of Greed to draw 2 cards from my deck, we'd get the rules, right? But no, Yu-Gi-Oh! Makes sure they say it every single time, and I think it's hilarious.
It is just absolutely unnecessary, and at the same time, it is great every single time.
100%. And if you're looking for a really fun time, there is a YouTube video. It is from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Official channel, and it's called Kaiba Being a Straight Savage for 22 minutes straight. So you can see 22 minutes of Kaiba in all his glory. But I think that's all we got today, Nam, right?
Yeah, that would be everything. For those of you who haven't watched, definitely watch. It is worth it. The 4Kids version, not the sub.
Check them both out.
Yeah.
Tyler would probably say the sub is better because he's anti-dub at this point. Don't let him tell you otherwise.
Yeah. But Tyler also hasn't even watched this because it's from the 90s.
2000s.
Close enough.
It was here in the 2000s. He had a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. He played Yu-Gi-Oh in high school, dude. He was one of those guys.
Yeah, but did he really watch it all?
That's true.
Or did he leave like 4 episodes left and he just fucking walked away because he doesn't want it to end ever?
It's true. I guarantee Tyler has no idea that the Pharaoh went to the afterlife and him and Yugi separated. I doubt he knows that.
No, not at all.
I can guarantee he doesn't know that Kaiba built technology to go to the afterlife and duel the fucking Pharaoh. I guarantee that.
Tyler probably doesn't even know that they had like 4 different other like spin-off shows. He probably stopped paying attention to 5Ds.
I think there's 7 of them, dude. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 Yu-Gi-Oh series. And probably more to come. Let's be honest, this is a money-making machine.
Oh yeah. They don't even have to make any new cards. They can just make a new story and come up with some new stupid rule.
Yeah, the next time it's going to be you have to do some crazy shit. I don't know. I don't even know what they can do at this point, you know?
Who even does?
But awesome. It's time to duel, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't yet, highly recommend you check out Dark Side of the Dimensions. It's on Amazon Prime. You can check it out there. We'll catch you next week. We'll be back with the rundown on Tuesday.
All 4 shows this time.
All 4 shows. Kaiju is back. Is here. Back here. Back here. Back here. All right, guys. We'll catch you next week. Peace out. Have a great weekend. Love you. Bye.
Later.